What's going on, everybody? So there is something that we have to address. We just have to. I thought I thought that after the 2024 election, that Trump supporters, that Donald Trump, everyone, I thought everyone finally came to the realization and finally understood what a tariff is and like how it works, right? I know there was like a whole Google spike as far as people trying to figure out what is a tariff, right? But apparently, Trump supporters and even Donald Trump still doesn't understand or know what a tariff is. Well, either Trump doesn't understand or he's lying. I'll let you be the judge. Check this one out.
On tariffs, you just said with China.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Independent.
Oh, that's good.
It's on tariffs. You just said with China. Thank you. We charge them as in we charge China, but the tariffs are paid eventually by American importers and consumers.
No, they're not. No, I think they're paid for by the country. But, look, we can get into that. I put a lot of tariffs on in my first term, and we made tremendous amounts of progress because of those tariffs.
So let's be factual. Tariffs are not paid by the other country. They're not. They're not. They're not. If you don't believe me, walk with me. Hold my hand. Walk with me as I break this down for you. Okay, so this comes from the International Trade Administration, right? And this is like a lot of great information about what tariffs are, how they work, a lot of really good things. But I want you to actually understand this part right here. When it talks about what tariffs are, tariffs and taxes increase the cost of your products. It says it there very specifically, right? But as we move on, it talks about the rate and how tariffs are actually applied. And this specifically breaks down the way that you should actually estimate your cost to account for tariffs. Now, again, you might be thinking that, oh, Donald Trump, he misspoke. It was just him, it was a quick response and he was moving on. Well, we had an opportunity to hear from him again, and he not only doubled down on that, but he doubled down on a misconception as far as what his tariffs did for the country and how super productive they were. So listen to this. Listen to him in his own words.
Let's see here. Go ahead, please. President. Earlier today, you told me that you believe that foreign countries pay tariffs, but Americans who are concerned about higher prices believe, as most people do, that they're paid by consumers and importers when they import things into this country. Can you explain how you came to this belief that foreign governments are paying tariffs? And for the Prime Minister, did you discuss with President Trump his repeated statements of desire to annex Canada? And has the King expressed any concern over the President's apparent desire to remove one of his realms from his control?
So I'll go ahead. The first part, the tariffs are necessary because we've been treated very unfairly by many, many countries, including our friends, friend and foe. But we've been treated very unfairly in trade at levels that nobody's really ever seen before, and especially under the Biden administration, they really took advantage of the United States. I put massive tariffs on China during my 4 years. We had the best economy in the history of our country, probably the best economy, maybe the best economy in the history of the world. And I used tariffs to even things up. And in particular with China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars and we had no inflation. And it's a myth. It's a myth that's put out there by foreign countries that really don't like paying tariffs, and especially to even up. So we've been treated badly by a lot. We're using tariffs. And I find, and you just have to look at the numbers, but I find that it's not about inflation. It's about fairness. And the inflation for us has not existed. And I don't think it's going to exist. We're going to bring our car industry back. We're going to bring our chips back. We're going to bring so many things back to our country, including pharmaceuticals and drugs. And the thing that's going to get us there is tariffs. And
So yeah, again, that's Trump actually double, tripling down again about how tariffs are a good thing and they did all this amazing things and blah 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 blah. Let's look at what actually happened because there was a great article that was posted by BBC that actually spoke to not only what tariffs are, but what happened with Donald Trump and the last time that he levied tariffs in his first administration. So this portion of the article speaks to how Donald Trump is planning on putting 25% tariffs on the EU. It talks about him also the actual tariffs that he's levied against China and the additional tariffs that he plans on actually adding to multiple countries. This portion of the article talks about why Donald Trump is planning on using tariffs, and more so the reason why he feels like that he can levy those actual tariffs, right? And it speaks to how Trump is worried about Canada and the F drug coming through Canada, but it really speaks to his thoughts or his concepts when it comes to what he plans on using them for. This portion of the article breaks down what actually happened when Donald Trump put tariffs on imported steel, right? That was the last time he actually used any type of massive, large form of tariffs, is when he put this on the steel industry, the steel and aluminum industry. So the thing that I want to call everyone's attention to is these three bubbles, right? Canada provides more than 50% of the aluminum imported into the United States in 2024. Canada's vowed to retaliate. It's they're not going to play around with this. They are going to strike back. And even more, if you take a look down at the bottom, it speaks to the fact that not only last time did it raise the cost of steel by 2.4%, I'm sorry, and aluminum by 1.6%, it in general negatively affected the United States. So it was not a good thing. It was not a good thing at all. So the point that I want to get across is that tariffs tariffs have a time and place. They are inflationary, but more than anything, the cost is paid for by the consumer. You and me, we are the ones that are going to have to actually feel the full force of these tariffs that Donald Trump is actually trying to levy against different countries. And you know what? Maybe I've spoken too much. Maybe you guys don't need to hear it from me, right? So let's hear from someone that maybe can articulate it a lot better than me. Everyone knows Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Famous movie, everyone loves it. They actually broke down tariffs for us. Take a listen.
In 1930, the Republican controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the anyone, anyone, the Great Depression, passed the anyone, anyone, the tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which anyone raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate.
You know what's interesting about the end of that video? He ends with saying, "Today we have a similar debate," which we do, right? And just like in the 1930s, just like in the 70s, 80s when the movie came out, today a tariff war doesn't work. It didn't work then, it's not going to work now, and it's going to harm consumers. Anyway, there you have it. I love you all, and as always, peace.